The weather seems good for this kind of exploration, but as we know from experience, when we travel through this land, conditions can shift drastically. The sun is present in chapters, with breaks behind the thin clouds. The guide says it seems like a perfect day now that we arrive in the valley. We have geared up in the parking lot. Helmets, climbing harness, crampons. The air feels cold to touch, as if the glacier is radiating. I think I can feel her scanning me. I know I am scanning her. I follow her contours with my eyes. The glacier looks like a marble rock from a distance. From a distance, the black ash hills, the white-grey eyes, the blue-white sky with the green mountains on the side. It feels like a two-dimensional picture, colored with volcanic ashes. Perhaps you thought it would be more blue? Vertical landscapes stacked on top of each other, trying to fill the frame. What surrounds us are rocks, grey-brown mountains with patches of green moss, the black gravel road that we rode on, and multiple groups of visitors that will walk onto the glacier like us. Most of them must be tourists. We are not. But what are we doing here? As we walk past the lake, I am filled with a sense of awe, a feeling of fullness that wants to overflow. This is the place where she is dying. Dying, yes. An active verb, not past or passive. The glacier is dying in constant, continuous presence. In parts, she will be reborn when winter comes and her stretched legs will become frozen tongues. Yet the lake, as debris, stays. The crampons mediate the conversation with the glacier. Here, there is no place for tipping your toes, letting the rest of your foot follow, slowly melting your feet in the soft surface while your head floats in a dream. No, on the glacier, it is a sturdy encounter of solids. Feet hitting ground, ground hitting feet. Big steps, wide steps, feet apart. Every leg moves as its own tree, shooting down roots with every touch, making sounds of crushing ice, reminding you to listen. With every step, the glacier speaks back in cracks. We stop the sounds of feet hitting the ground and sit down on the ice, turning silent ourselves, letting the glacier do the talking. Someone asks, "What if your ears were your eyes? How would you see the glacier?" Someone asks, "What if our ears were our eyes? How would we see the glacier?"
若有来生，我将成为什么？爱我，爱我，看着我，告诉我，原谅我，记得我，找到我，触碰我，拥抱我，亲吻我，低语于我，保护我，成为我。这份护持的重量已经无法承受。我弯下腰，祈求痛苦离去。我暂停，不再成为什么。现在是谁站在我的身后？有谁为我持守
？Today, space in between can hold the whole universe. Yet above some height, there is no ground visible anymore, no rock to hold to. Just an ocean without a shore. A small human with their self-agency in a bottomless continuation, spreading in all directions. Space in between tries to maintain being between.
Legðu við hlustir. Legðu höfuðið á harðasta steinin. Kuldinn leitar í hnakkan, móðan þéttist í hálsinum. Þessi steinn segir þér að hann sé holur að innan og höfuð þitt þyngist í tilhugsunina. Grefur ykkur dýpra í sandinn. Það þarf ekki nema eitt ský á himni, það þarf lítið til að græta þig. Þú þekkir það af eigin raun að raki og móða fylla í holrýmin, en minnist ekki á það við steinin. Skýi verður á 2, svo 3 og þú stendur þau upp. Veist kannski að steinninn verður eftir, veist kannski að þú sérð hann ekki aftur. Þessa nótt féll eitthvað sjálft sig. Þessa nótt myndi móðandi á svolítið nýtt. Þessa nótt týndirðu holum steini.
破碎的心走入冰裂，住进永恒，忘记呼吸。我是最后一个站着的吗？在我眼前，你无情的崩裂、离去、融化、坠落，而我试着护持着一切。对我而言，护持不是一段强求的关系，但你脱离的速度迫使我臣服于拖行。这样的护持是否也意味着打磨、形塑、追随与适应，并与无常的你不断的相遇？我一边死去，一边呼吸。
She decided to join the discussion about work and labor with retreating her voice and finally sheltering herself in a comfortable, cozy place, resting. Her silent protest needed to bend rules that everyone seemed to take for granted. If resting under the tree could be viewed as an act of resistance, her sheltering between small roots of moss must be considered too. Yes, she decided. She will not echo anymore. For far too long she had to bounce between voice strings, walls, buildings, mountains, caves. She was tired, and she sensed that overproduction was not only belonging to the material world. There are too many sounds echoing through spaces too. And that sound pollution was driving her crazy. Also the fact that she was forced by so-called natural law to keep on contributing to what was making her so uncomfortable, burnt out, exhausted. Immediately, when someone gave her a chance to escape, she took it. Running from a loud, sharp scream, someone was letting into the moss, trying to hide their anger from the judgments of others into soft, warm ground. And so she stayed there, resting, sheltering.
There should be a tree planted for every human life lost, and a blessing carved in stone. I have sap on my fingers. I have a trunk of vanilla in my spine. A dark forest is a home, but not for me. In my dark forest, I cannot live. I can certainly visit, but the air is too heavy for my lungs, and my eyes cannot see the ground to stay there longer than needed. If I come for the sounds. The sounds that cannot escape the tightly woven branches and have nowhere else to go but through my eardrum into my head. It makes me feel special in a sense. I'm then the only witness of their existence, and soon even I will forget them naturally. I hide between the nightshades and press my ear close to the ground so my nose can smell the wetness of the soil, and my clothes are soaked and dirty. Then I listen. With good focus, the labor of the soil becomes as loud as a city when my warm body slowly heats the water between the asphalt and my skin. Then I lay here motionless for a while, breathing in water, rotting with the trees. My dark forest is a home, but not for me. The leaf litter in forests acts as a protective layer for soil conditions. It creates a physical barrier between the soil surface and atmosphere that reduces soil drying, responds to atmospheric temperature fluctuations, and reduces erosion from precipitation events. Through decomposition, nutrients stored in the dead material re-enter the system and act as a natural fertilizer for plants throughout the year. The controls and nutrient cycles are especially important for forest wildflowers. I have soil inside my cheeks. Scratches on trees by military trucks, trying to spot jackets far between the woods, but nothing there. Wax drops create familiar smell. Finding warming pads, unused. Heating guns, installed temporarily on towers to watch deer. Frog sounds, rather unimpressed. Tour guides handing food, it's too dangerous to help. I have metallic water in my hair. I have herbs in the pouch of my waist. I scream, and so does the forest. From where I stand, I see sky where once I saw leaves. Leaves who originate from spring. Sky who once brought snow. I scream again, but the forest remains silent. She got tired of answering. She won't return my call. I scream again, but louder. A sound of despair. A sound of longing. We completely misunderstood what we are here for. I am here to see the leaves grow, to gather smells, to lay on the forest floor. The forest was my ordinary. Now I just scream. It was like a penguin, very big and friendly. It couldn't fly nor run, so people could easily come close to it and kill it. Because it was so approachable, it became easy food in times of food shortage. It tasted bad. People would eat it anyway. Then there was Danish colonialism, stuffed birds as gifts to rich. The last 2 killed were given to
Catching your tears while holding onto a cloud requires a good balance and trust in yourself. A cloud is ever-changing, so in order to grab one, you must coordinate your movements very well. If you manage to succeed, the tears will come naturally. Now you just need to catch them in the palms of your hand, or maybe with your elbows or your knees. Keep them there safely on your way down as you descend on a small piece of cloud. Keep your hands closed in fists to shield your tears from the wind. Once landed, you can share them with a friend to make it easier. I stay at a mediocre level of temperature to not push you away. You seem to have specific limits. If I cross one, you disappear. In another, you turn a cold eye on me. I don't know how to be with ice yet. You teach me a different way of care, because you are in constant change and movement. To care for you is not one way. To care for me is not one way. I see. If I'm in love with something so fluid, because I am in love with something fluid, that is why I want to be able to float too. What I know needs to always change. What a relief. There is no one way. We are not one way, nor two, nor three. To care for you is to care for me. Is to care for you is 2, 3, 4. For our lives together, no one lives alone. Ever. Can you believe that you actually bathed me to life? You were the first one I touched before I even knew I existed. Perhaps I am like you. Perhaps I've never really begun, nor will I ever finish. Perhaps I just existed in different forms and shapes, carrying you and caring for you. The thirsty rocks swallow the water I offer, some with more enthusiasm than others. I guess they are just that thirsty. Not having a drink in a lifetime, but what is a lifetime of a rock? Maybe this was just a split of a second of its life, but for me a whole long journey. The geyser of frustration has been a place of worship for neglected emotions. People gathered there for offerings, revering, praying, and then watched it bubble and eventually blow up into the sky. Now the geyser of frustration is in hibernation. People have forgotten the ways to honor frustration, annoyance, bitterness, and anger. Instead, they ignore and discard them, scattering them wherever they come up. Some leave it in their bodies to fester. It is messy. In the future, the geyser of frustration will have a renaissance of spirit. People will gather there again, remembering to bring their prayers and offerings, reviving the power that the geyser once held, and is sure to hold again. Take a handful of invisibility in your hands. Make sure to spread it over your body evenly, then close your eyes. You don't want to be seen by yourself. It's not very warrior-like. Make sure to follow your intuition whilst dressing into your bodysuit. You, after all, are setting your boundary. After the heat of a movement, you run to the beach. Write down your warrior name. That is the only way. Falling is fun and soft. The air is clear and sharp. Falling is surrounded by other fallings. Falling getting bigger and louder. Falling except being down. Down is good, ground is hot. Falling is feeling of the surface. Falling is touching the ground. Falling becomes flying. Falling is flying in the water. Flying in the water is flying in the space.